everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Alexis here. So first I wanted to say thanks to all who have watched my videos, and I really hope you guys enjoy them or you've gotten something out of them. I really appreciate you. Even though it's early on this journey, I have already come to a decision regarding some of my art supplies. I have a big basket thing full of alcohol markers. Yeah, those are gonna go. I just realized that I don't like using alcohol markers. The goal of this whole thing is for me to trim down my supplies to only things that I love. I feel also as if gouache is moving in that direction. I think I may keep a couple of colors of gouache, but as a whole, I don't like working with gouache as a medium. It just doesn't work for me. I've tried it. Again, I've seen other people use it and I love the way it looks. Sometimes I've used it and I'm like, okay, but it's usually on top of watercolor or to add things to. So gouache for me works more like an accent medium instead of one that I need a whole collection of products from. So yep, those are going. That gets a lot of things out of my way so I can focus on using the things that I actually do enjoy. And with that, I am interested in doing a giveaway for a couple of milestones on this channel. I'm going to do it in threes because of my own reasons, but I would like to do one at 300, one at 600, and one at 900. Now I'm a long ways from that, but that's perfect because that way I can finish up my swatches, get a good number of videos up, and then organize and separate everything so I can showcase what will be in the giveaways. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into this video. Okay, so you guys go easy on me. I don't have a lot and there is a lot of room for improvement. So I'm going to break this up into three small sections. The first of the things that I'm going to show you is just going to be a series of doodles to kind of explain how I work, how I get to know my supplies and practice certain techniques. The second group are going to be pieces of art that are studies or copies of art I have found on Pinterest. I will have the original artwork pictured in the corner and try to have a link to the artist or at least the post that I found on Pinterest that I used. And then the third will be some of my own. Okay, so first is the way that I like to test out my products, and so that would be the watercolor and the paper. So what I like to do is do something, anything, it doesn't matter, a little sketch, and then write the watercolor that I used and then the paper that it was done on. See how the paper holds up, see how it looks, see how it dries, see how long you have to work on it. So that's what I do. This picture is not the greatest and the color's a little off, but I liked this paper a lot, and this is when I think I first used the Roman Schmal watercolors, and I loved the way they went down and I loved the way they looked, so I kept this. This is also Stonehenge watercolor paper and Shinhan's watercolors. Now the Stonehenge watercolor paper I really like because it's smooth enough. It's smooth enough to draw on, but it's still got that gripping texture that I like in cold pressed watercolor paper. So yeah. Now these two were color tests, or like I was trying to develop color schemes that I like, and I really like these. I really like this one for the transparency of the colors, how they went down. Again, this is my jam. This is my brand, Roman Schmal. And I like the muted colors. I really want to do a completed piece with using these kind of colors. I was trying to replicate this look and feel with different watercolors just to see if I could do it. And even though they're similar colors, that airiness, that lightness that's so easy to get is harder to get with other watercolors. And that's what I was trying to explain in my swatching video. is that look of like airiness, ethereal, that look to it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I still like this color. I love this green that I got. This is Schminke and Sennelier watercolors on, I think this is the Academy watercolor paper. Yeah. Yeah, both of these were on Academy watercolor paper, but I love this pink and green. I don't know. I really dig this colors, and I want to do a completed full work with this color scheme going on. So yeah. These are just some wannabe fruits. But I did like the way that this ultramarine, and you know what? I didn't see, they're just scraps of paper, and I just take the scraps and I do something on it just to practice and test stuff out. This is supposed to be a mango, and that's supposed to be a strawberry. But I like the way the colors came out. Yep, that's why I kept those. Now, whenever I got new watercolors, I would always draw mushrooms because they were quick, easy, and very cute. And then I would use the watercolor on them. This one I kept because I like these color combinations. I didn't write down what watercolors I used though, which kind of sucks, but I don't know, for some reason I really like these colors together and I wanted to do something else with those colors. This one I think I've already shown. This is Renaissance watercolors on Academy watercolor paper. This was like one of the first things that I had done in watercolor, and as you can see I messed up royally and I threw some gouache on top of this. Watercolor is so light, it's easy to cover up, and I just kept this to show, you know, shit happens, mistakes happen, you know, but things are adjustable and fixable, so I kept her. Now, hair stuff right here is my Achilles heel. So what I've decided, and I don't know, it could be, I don't want to say it's laziness, but it's priority for me. I am looking for a method of communicating hair without having to go into this painstaking detail of hair. So artists like Loish, she does beautiful hair. There's an artist on this platform. Her name is, she goes by Cosmic Spectrum. I'm going to leave a link to her videos below. I'm sure everybody knows her, but she does amazing, like the detail in the hair, the movement, every strand is like perfect. And at first I was like, man, I want to learn how to do that. But then I didn't enjoy doing it. And I just realized that aspect of the drawing wasn't that important to me. There were other parts of the drawing that I want to communicate more and more clearly than hair for me. I love the way those other artists do. I admire that, but so I was like, for me, I would like to develop a way to communicate hair without, you know, all the details. So this one, I found a tutorial on YouTube that, you know, gave me something that I kind of like. I want to polish it up a little bit and perfect the technique, but I like the way the curly hair came out. And that's all this drawing was about. It was for the hair. This one too, just trying to figure out how to layer different colors to give a look of hair without having to do every single strand, every single detail. And that's what that doodle was about. Again, trying to do hair. That's what was going on there. This one, I don't really know what that's about. It's just stuck in there. And this was me testing out this watercolor paper, which was terrible. I got it from Michael's, very, very cheap. It was kind of a no-name brand, but I was just trying to see, you know, I guess what I could get away with. Not good. Even after the watercolor dried, it would keep coming up. So this color that you see here is ink, India ink, and that's permanent. And it went down pretty good, and I used some watercolor on top of it. So I want to explore that technique actually more, of using inks with watercolor, because I like the fact that it doesn't move underneath, and you can add like light layers of watercolor on top. So that's why I kept those. That's done. Okay, so the next ones up are gonna be, like I said, I like to call them studies, but they're copies of pictures that I've seen or artwork that I've seen on Pinterest. But I'm gonna have the original artwork put in the corner, and I'm gonna try to leave a link to the post, or I'm just gonna list the artist name in the description box. The first one is this one. Now this, you know, I try to, even if I'm copying, try to add something different, try to mix it up a little bit, just so it's not like a complete copy. And I I don't know what I was doing. Again, hair. I mean, give me a break. But I like the way the colors came out, and I don't know. It was a cute drawing. It's a cute painting. I love the variation of color that the watercolor gave. I don't know what watercolors I used on this one though, so shame on me. But this is B paper, which I actually really like. It's smooth, but again, it still has a little bit of texture. So, and I don't know, I like texture on my watercolor paper. There's something about painting on top of it that's comfortable to me, rather than painting on smooth paper, which it doesn't really absorb the way that I like it to. It kind of sits on the surface for a little bit, which is, I don't know. I don't know why it's stressful for me. It just is. I have done work on hot press watercolor paper, but I prefer cold press, some texture. So yeah, that's it. Okay, and there's this one. And I think, yeah, this one was done on Derwent watercolor paper and with Daniel Smith watercolors. Now this paper, over time, when did I do this? I did this like September of last year. Over time, I kind of noticed it got a little bit darker. It yellowed just a little bit. I think it was already a little bit darker than the B paper anyway, but I feel like it got a little bit darker. So for the Derwent watercolor paper, I would pay attention to that. Just know that over time it kind of yellows a little bit. But I did like working on this. Really nice to work on. Again, it's smooth enough that drawing on it it's pretty comfortable, but it still has that grip to grab the watercolor. As you can see in the original picture, he's like holding up something. I cut that arm off. I was like, nah. This is probably one of my favorite ones and the way it came out. And you know, I think why this turned out the way that I wanted it to is because I had let it dry actually for 24 hours. My biggest problem is impatience. I have to keep going, keep picking at, like, not picking at stuff, but keep touching. And I think it's just because if I stop, I feel like I'll lose momentum, or whatever I had in my mind or whatever idea I wanted to do, it's gonna go away and I won't remember it. I don't know, psychosis. But I had done a layer and I had let it dry for 24 hours, like a whole day. And then I came back to it and painted on top of it. And I think that is what I need to make a lot of my watercolors artwork, is that time to make sure that it really dries, because I've used the blow dryer or the heat gun, and I feel like it does something to the paper sometimes, that the paints react differently on the paper if you go in right out. Yep, so I really like the way this one came out. She's super cute. I love the original artwork so much, so much. This was actually Shinhan's student line watercolors. I'm gonna show you the tubes in a second. Maybe I'll put them in a little box in the frame here somewhere. They're the student line, the cheaper line of Shinhan watercolors on B paper, and they came out beautifully, student grade. And this was done around the same time all of these were, well, it says it right here, September of 21. And they have not faded. Now I do not hang these on my wall or anything, but they held up. Yeah, I'm not swatching those in my watercolor swatches because it's just gonna get redundant if I do that, but they are damn good. I would check those out too. That's Shinhan's student line of watercolors. Again, I'm gonna leave a picture of the tubes. I think everybody has seen those. This was Kuretake. Oh, also the Kuretake, the little square. What again? I'll leave a picture or photo of it in here. I'm not swatching those either. I hadn't used them that much, and honestly, and this is part of the problem, I forgot that I had the Kuretake watercolors. But that comes from having just stuff all over the place and too much stuff. But I really like the way they work. This is Stonehenge watercolor paper. Like, this came out beautifully. I was surprised. I really like the way they layered. I like the color. Yeah, they did the damn thing. Again, my Achilles heel hair. And this one, the original artwork I could not find. I've saw this on Pinterest quite a few times. I didn't save the photo, and I don't know who did it, and I apologize. It's not my original piece, not my original idea. But yeah, the hair is just different, and then I think the look of the face is a little bit different, but the idea was something that came out for Pinterest, just so you know. This is, wow, I was using the hell out of Stonehenge watercolor paper. This is Stonehenge watercolor paper and Renaissance watercolors. I like the way that these layered, and I like the way that they blended together. Really nice color variation and combination. Yeah. And these two, again, I hope I find like I'm gonna look again, and I hope I find the artwork that I copied this from. Again, it's on Pinterest. It's not my original idea. It's not my original artwork. I don't know. If you find it, leave it down in the comments. Please, please, please. This was done on that really cheap Michaels watercolor paper that I had showed you guys before, that no-name brand. But this I did with inks. And then on top, I think a little bit of watercolor. But, yeah. I really like how the inks worked on it, because they didn't move. If I tried to use watercolors, I mean, it would keep lifting up. But yeah, I hope I find them. If I don't, please, somebody, please, because I'm not trying to steal any credit from any other artists at all. You don't need to be burned at the stake. I'm good. Okay, and lastly is just some stuff from me. Go easy on me, please. Okay, so this is actually, I kept this one because this is actually the first watercolor that I had ever done. I didn't know how to gauge water, paint. I still don't know really, but I've gotten a little better at it. But yep, this was my first hair, of course, you know. This was my first watercolor painting, and these were little thumbnails. And I just stuck them all together. I was just so damn proud. Made a little plaque out of it. Okay, and this was, I think this was supposed to be a sticker idea, but I didn't like very much how the skin came out so much. I thought the hair was kind of cute, but yeah, I mean, it was all right, but there was a lot of patchiness, and I think I don't know, what paper is this? This could be Stonehenge again. I don't know. I need to go revisit that paper. I have a whole bunch of B paper, so I want to use that up first, but that Stonehenge was hitting. This was actually done early on as well. I don't know, cute little drawing. I like the way the hair came out. I like the mixture. I don't know why that pink and yellow. Super cute. This was done in the beginning of last year, so over a year ago is when I started with watercolors. This was actually done from a model of a picture that I saw on Pinterest. So it was a real life model, and then I painted that from it. And what is this? This is Canson Heritage Hot Press Watercolor and Prima Watercolor Essence Set. These actually work pretty good. They look a little chalky, the Prima watercolors. If you want me to swatch those, I can. There's plenty of YouTube videos that have Prima watercolors in them. They work pretty well. I was surprised. I think this is B paper, and this is also that Shinhan student line of watercolors. I'm telling you, they are actually bomb. Actually, a lot of time when I'm playing or like I'm doing thumbnails for other things, I use those instead of using, I used to use those instead of using my more higher end watercolors, because I was so, like, oh, I don't want to use them up, not knowing fully that I would never, ever, ever probably use those up. Yeah. This, I think I've already shown. This was just me using up some of the swatch left over. This is a mushroom that I did. I don't know, I like the way it came out, so I kept it. I like the look of the light. I was just trying to learn like different techniques and different ways of making things look like what I wanted them to. This is Academy watercolor paper. Excuse me. Oh yeah, no, Academy watercolor paper with White Nights watercolors. That's what that is. Boop, boop. I love mushrooms. They're so cute. I don't know. Now this was done, it's not the best situation here, but this was done on Canson, the cheap, very popular Canson watercolor paper. And it's funny because I know you can't do too many layers on Canson watercolor paper, and it's hit or miss. It might do some crazy stuff, it may not, but with light layers, I sometimes like the patchiness, the patchy look that it gives to some of my paintings. I don't know, there's sometimes when I'm in the mood for that kind of look, and sometimes when I'm like, nah. I don't know, again, this was one from January of 21, so it's a little small thing that I did. Now this was later on, and this is on hot Canson Heritage Hot Press watercolor paper. And the watercolors I used, they were a mix, I guess. It was in my custom mix palette. Yeah. Now, I don't really like using hot press watercolor paper, but I have to say that they did work really well. It was a dream to draw on, of course. And the colors blended really nice and laid down really nice on this paper. But here, here. This one was supposed to be a sticker for someone, but I had to fix it in like a digital because there's a lot of patchiness right there. The colors didn't come out that great. Boop, boop. Oh, what watercolor paper was that on? Oh, I don't know. It looks like it might have been, it's something else. It's not Academy, but it's not B paper. It's not Canson. It's someone else, but I don't know who. Now this is Academy watercolor paper. I can feel it. And yeah, just like a little baby portrait. thing. Hair again, fucked that up nicely. This one I've already shown. That was for Watercolors. Don't, oh, this is Fabriano watercolor paper. I like that watercolor paper too. Very nice. A little harder to draw on than I think the Stonehenge, but works with the watercolors really well. I could do a lot of layers on top of this one. And this is Fluid 100 paper. Yeah, okay. Fluid 100 paper and a custom palette. So I'm not sure which watercolors I use. It's a mix. I like the way the hair gradient came out there. A little patchy in the face, but that's my fault. Whatever. Okay, so this drawing right here is actually, this was the thumbnail to this picture, but I actually like the thumbnail more. I don't know, I like the way the colors came out. You know, the hair is hair. We don't have to go back into that, but yeah, I like the colors, I like the mood, I like the dark muddiness of it, actually. I don't know. I like the way that's what came out. And this was done, oh, what is that? See, I don't know. This was like, it was supposed to be like a scrap doodle, but it came out something that I really enjoyed, so. And this was supposed to be the final version, but this is B paper. And I think the package that I had, something was wrong with the sizing. Because, I don't know if you could tell there, but there's this patchiness that happened on it. And I don't know why. I think it has something to do with the sizing, maybe expiring on it or something. And the fact that the color right there, it's so yellow. I don't know. I think I was trying to cover up that patchiness and ended up doing too many layers up here and then the rest. But I kept it. This was actually also a model off of Pinterest that I then did a painting to. The skin has a lot to be desired to it, but I felt like I got the likeness pretty good, so I kept it. She alright, she cute. This was actually a rough draft of a bookmark that I was making for someone. Like, I've done little things, like little projects, like stickers, invitations, party invitations, bookmarks, you know, flyers for people. I've made a little bit of money, just a little bit. And so that made me really determined to do this thing as far as art is concerned. This, I don't know what I was going through. Who knows? This is B paper and the custom palette, which is a mix of watercolor brands. This is a Chick-Fil-A chicken sandwich. This was done with Shinhan, the professional artist grade watercolors and Canson XL watercolor paper. And again, I actually really like the way the Canson watercolor worked with this particular painting. I know it's like, it's iffy sometimes, but sometimes I like that patchiness, that variation that it has. This was actually supposed to be just a practice for hair. Again, I was trying to work on different techniques for hair, but I actually like the way the picture came out, so I kept it. This is Schminke Watercolors on Canson watercolor paper. I don't know. I was trying to put flowers in the hair, but that didn't go too great. And it's very patchy. I don't even really know why I kept this. I'm probably going to throw this away. This is it. Really early on, I was looking up how to do negative painting. That's when you start light and then you go darker for the background. I don't know. I never really got into it. It's not hard, but it's kind of difficult to wrap your mind around. So that was my little cactus, guys. I think this was done I saw something on Pinterest and I just changed it up a little bit. The features I got off of picture on Pinterest. I was inspired by the look of it, so I'm gonna try to find that and put that in here. This should be with that other set, but it's in here. And this, I don't know why I kept that. What is this? This is White Nights watercolor on Academy paper. Yeah, I think I was trying to do something with lights. Trying to learn about light too. There's a lot that I'm trying to learn as I go. This one was kind of a bust. I don't know. I don't even know why I kept it. This is B paper and Core watercolors. I don't care for Core watercolors. I don't know. I mean, I'm not blaming them for the outcome of this picture. I recall not really liking, what they were doing for me. And this, I don't know, I was really into making fish people. This is Academy watercolor paper, and I don't know what watercolors these are. This particular fish lady has a big old head. But I like the way the gradient came out, and I like the color of the skin. This is Canson watercolor paper. I can feel it. And Isaro watercolors. I was like just really wanting to do, I don't know, just something fun. But I love, oh look, I love this. What is, okay, can you see that? Now that granulation, that's because I was expecting granulation. I love that. And that variation. The Isaro watercolors do great on Canson watercolor paper. I really like that. So yeah. And then this was, is this still, I think, Isaro watercolors on Canson watercolor paper. So we're still with Isaro. Yeah, I just feel like they work very well on the Canson watercolor paper. And this, I don't know. I mean, the background is a bust. I don't know, doing some kind of little Avatar inspired peeps. Kind of weird, a little creepy. I don't know. Interesting. The background got really fucked up though. This is on Canson watercolor paper, and because of what I was trying to do in the background, I probably, I knew better than to use the Canson watercolor paper, but there it is. Sorry if it's a little out of frame. I can't zoom out anymore, guys. Sorry. And I think this is the last one. This was just, honestly, this was just a collection of things that I was doing. Little drawings, and this poor snake looks like he needs some help. But this is Shinhan. This was done with Shinhan watercolors, and this was Core watercolors. And you see the skin is really patchy. But I like the colors. I don't know. Something about the colors was doing it for me, especially these ones in the back. I don't know, I just did a little mask there. Okay, and that is all she wrote. So as you can see, still growing, still learning, still working on getting to where I want to be. All right, guys, so the next video up, what is the next video up? The next video up is my next set of watercolor swatches. Those are going to be my blue watercolors, which it's going to be so hard. I don't think there's a single blue color that I do not like, but you know, we have multitudes of them. We have to get rid of some of them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Have a good day, guys.